Hey everyone, it's Carissa. Welcome to Satur-YAY, where we're celebrating the weekend by getting our craft on. Today I wanted to give you an in-depth look at the Zig Art and Graphic Twin Tip Markers. These are from Zig, the makers of our ever so popular clean color real brush markers, and I thought there might be some questions that arise as to the similarities and differences between these two types of markers. So I wanted to give you a really good look at both of them today. These twin tip markers are available in packs of 12, packs of 4. You can get the big mama pack, which includes all of them, or you can pick them up individually. So that choice is yours. Now the colors really do kind of line up with the Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers, and I'm going to show you more about that in just a minute. But first I wanted to show you the markers. Now these markers, you can see the brush tip is actually that colored big tip on the left-hand side of the screen, and the fine tip is on the right side of the screen. Now, these two are both the light carmine marker. They both have a little ridge on the cap that keeps them from rolling off of your work surface. But here is the big difference. This has a brush tip, but this is a rubber brush tip. And it also has a 0.8 millimeter fine tip nib. Now this doesn't have any give to it. It's a nice firm nib, so it's nice for writing. But this brush tip is made out of rubber, so it's nice and durable, but it's still flexible, which allows you to use it for different techniques like hand lettering, calligraphy, those types of things, or watercolor if you prefer to do that as well. Now, on the other hand, the Zig Clean Color Real Brush Marker is a nylon brush. It's an actual brush. It has bristles. This is a more solid brush nib. It's not really a true brush. It's kind of shaped like a brush, and it has give like a brush. So you can get those thicks and thins like you can with like a calligraphy pen or something like that. I'm just kind of giving you a look at this in action here, where you can get those thicks and thins. Now, don't make fun of my handwriting. I am in no means a calligraphist. Is that how you say it? A calligraphist? I don't know. A calligrapher, I guess, or a hand letterer by any means. But, you know, I'm just giving you an idea here. So here's the Clean Color Real Brush Marker. Now this has a lot more give to it than the rubber brush nib on the twin tip. So you use a lot less pressure to make your thicks and thins. Now, for someone who's a little heavier handed like myself, it's a little harder for me to control the brush nib on the Clean Color Real Brush Marker. Now, the tip comes to a much finer point on that Clean Color Real Brush Marker, but I think both of them allow for some really good techniques. Now, the other end on this twin tip is a 0.8 millimeter nib. Now, it's great for writing. You can do some journaling with this. You can write some letters with this, and you can see it doesn't have any give to it. It's a nice firm tip. So that makes it really nice for sketching or writing or drawing. Now, let's look at the colors because this can kind of get confusing. Some of the colors line up as far as numbers go on the Zig Clean Color Real Brush Markers and the twin tips. However, most of them don't. So if you have some favorite colors in the clean colors, look for the same name in the twin tip. The name is the key, not the number. You can see here, I started out with the two reds from the two different collections, but the numbers don't match up. The number that is the same in the Clean Color Real Brush Marker is the fluorescent orange. So I am baffled by this as much as you are. I have no clue how they came up with their numbering system. But if you want to match up the two collections, go by the name of the color, not the number on the color. So I wanted to show you how well the colors match up between the two collections. So that is the twin tip red. That is going by the name, not the number once again. This is the Clean Color Red. You can see how similar they are. They really do match up as far as colors are concerned. They're very close to each other. And here's the two markers that are Pink Flamingo from both collections. Now, these numbers match up. Like I said, I didn't make the numbers. I didn't make the system. Sometimes the numbers match up, sometimes they don't. But here I just wanted to give you a side-by-side comparison of the colors and show you really how well they match up. So on the top, we have Pink Flamingo, we have the red, we have the purple. And then once again, just wanted to reiterate the different points. I don't really feel like the Clean Color Real Brush is great for writing. The brush nib on the twin tip is a little bit better for writing, but the fine nib is definitely the best for writing. So we will get into some of the more advantages of that rubber brush nib a little bit later on, but I wanted to give you a side-by-side comparison of the blendability of these markers. Now, both of these markers are a water-based marker, so blending is going to be very easy. However, the kind of paper that you use when blending with these markers really does matter. And to give you a look at that, I thought I would show you a comparison blending these on both Neenah Solar White cardstock as well as the Bristol Smooth cardstock. So you can see I am using a light and a dark color. These are all the same colors from both collections that I matched them up by name. So I wanted to give them a fair shot against each other, so I'm using the same colors. On each of the cardstocks, I'm keeping the Clean Color Real Brush on the left side of the cardstock and the twin tip on the right side of the cardstock so that you can really get a really good comparison. The paper does matter. You're going to get the best results no matter how you're blending on the Bristol Smooth cardstock. So on those first two examples, I used a light and a dark from the same color family to blend into each other. On these examples, I am using a water brush, and I accidentally put the twin tip on the left-hand side of the cardstock there, so I'm going back and using the clean color on the left-hand side of the cardstock, and I'm getting my act back together. But you can see, in all cases, they blend much better on the Bristol Smooth cardstock. Now, available in the twin tip collection is this blender pen. Now, this works great with both the Zig Clean Color Real Brush markers as well as those twin tip markers. So you have the twin tip on the blender pen as well, and I just wanted to show you that you can use it with your Clean Color Real Brush. It kind of gives you the same effect as blending out with water, except for it's not quite as wet as a water brush. Now, important to note is that once both of these are kind of dried on the paper, they can be reactivated with water. So I'm going back to those first two blends that I did with the two markers from the same color family, and I'm reactivating them with water. Now you can see they reactivate better on the Bristol Smooth cardstock, which is why I will recommend that you use Bristol Smooth cardstock when using either one of these markers. And they reactivate really well with the sparkle pen as well, because that sparkle pen has a lot of moisture in it and works like a water brush as well. Now, you can use these on a Tim Holtz watercolor cardstock. You can get better blending than you do on the Neenah Solar White cardstock. However, my favorite paper to use with both of these markers is the Bristol Smooth cardstock. So you may want to pick up some of those if you've had trouble blending in the past with your Clean Color Real Brush markers, or if you want to try these Zig twin markers out, I do recommend that you pick up some Bristol Smooth. Now, I recorded this little section on a different day because I forgot to do it on the day that I was originally recording. But another blending technique that you can do is picking up a color on a different color of your twin tip and kind of blending them out. So I'm picking up some purple on this blue marker, or some blue on the purple marker, and just kind of blending those out, and you can get some fun blends. Now, I've picked a little bit of purple up on this pink marker, and you can see that really cool gradient effect that you get. But here is why I am most excited about these twin tip markers. They are great for coloring directly on rubber stamps. That durable rubber nib means you can scribble all over your stamps and you don't have to worry about the tip fraying or kind of separating. It just really makes for a great technique. Now, I do feel like these work better on a true rubber stamp than they do a photopolymer stamp. But if you have any tips for me, quite honestly, I tried coating the photopolymer stamp with some Versamark, but I wasn't able to get a really great blend on a photopolymer stamp. However, on the rubber stamps, they're fantastic. Once you blend the color onto the stamp, you're going to want to pick up the stamp and breathe on it with an open mouth. We used to call this huffing back in the day, but I know that huffing kind of has a totally different connotation these days. But nevertheless, it re-moistens the ink from the moisture in your breath, or you can spray a little bit of water on it with a water mister and activate it that way. You're going to get a much more wet result with the water mister. So now I've just taken this Dina Wakley stamp here. I'm coloring on it with two different colors. I'm kind of blending them together and coloring over the edge where those two colors meet. And then I'm moistening the ink by breathing open mouth on it, deep breath with an open mouth, and then stamping it onto my cardstock here. So you can see on this example, I've went from a blue to a green, from a green to a lighter green, and then I'm using a purple to a blue on the bottom and a green to a yellow to finish off this kind of gradient effect on that stamp here. And you can see really how great the results are when you blend the colors directly on the stamp. Now, I thought I'd give you another example here. This is kind of going to be a rainbow gradient here. So I started with a pink, I went to an orange. I'll do a yellow, a green, a blue, and a purple. Now, when I'm coloring directly on the stamp, I'm budding the colors right up next to each other, and you'll see me kind of go back across those lines with the color as well so that I get a nice smooth blend. You're not going to mess up the tips of these markers. If you get another color on the tip of your marker, all you have to do is scribble that off until it scribbles clean onto a scrap piece of paper. So I've gone ahead and colored my full rainbow gradient. I picked that up, I breathed on it with an open mouth, and then you can see I stamped it onto my cardstock there. With this first example, I went ahead and finished it off and made it into a card. I just used an embossed sentiment from the Make It Beautiful stamp set. That's from the Essentials by Ellen Line. I added a few sequins, some pattern paper, and then mounted it onto a card base. So there you have it, an up-close look at the Zig Art and Graphic Twin markers. If you head on over to the Classroom blog, I'll have some more information on these markers over there, as well as some more still shots. I'll also have a complete list of supplies that I used in this video today so that you can pick those markers up that I used either individually or as a set. Be sure to check that out. As always, I'll have links to the featured products in the description at YouTube, as well as a link to the Coordinating Classroom blog post. Thanks for stopping by today. Happy Satur-YAY, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day.